This week on the Digital Marketing Scoop, we're talking search engine optimization tips to help improve your Google rankings. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. So this week we're going to be talking a little bit about search engine optimization. I suppose one thing we've seen an awful lot of in the past year is a lot of businesses going online, particularly as well a lot on the e-commerce side of things. So what I'd like to do today, I suppose, basically is give people some tips around that. Also, some of the things, some of the common mistakes we see coming into us that are very simple things you can fix on even on your own end. And hopefully by the end of this podcast, you'll have some really good things to implement basically on your own website that can help improve your Google rankings.
Yeah, definitely.
I suppose the first issue we often see coming into us is people who have their websites built on WordPress. There's a little button in the back end of WordPress that can be on by default install, which actually tells Google, don't index my website. Sometimes that is on. People are wondering, oh, why isn't my website ranking? Basically, what you're doing there's a little file called robots.txt. And that file tells Google and the other search engines what pages of your website you want indexed. So when you have that button ticked in the back end of WordPress, you're basically telling the search engines, "Oh, don't show me any search results. Don't look at me. Don't look at me." That it's amazing how much that happens. So if you're like typing your web address into Google and you're like, why the hell am I not showing up, or why is it showing there's limited results for this domain?
Yeah.
Have a look in the back end of your website, or go to your domain name /robots.txt. And there's little tools as well, like Google Search Console is fantastic. You can do this if you go to Google and type in robots.txt tester. That'll tell you whether you're getting indexed or not as well, or whether your robots.txt file is blocking you from being indexed. So that's like most basic level. It doesn't matter what you do if your robot.txt file is telling Google and the other search engines, don't index me.
Yeah.
Then doesn't really matter. You can have amazing on-site SEO, the great websites linking into you, all that. It won't really matter. So you need that basic right. And as I say, as particularly in WordPress, we see it quite a bit where that is set and people's websites aren't being indexed. So definitely check that. Make sure use something like Google Search Console. That's Google's tool. That'll tell you very quickly whether you're being indexed or not.
Yeah, and that's a great tip that I feel people don't even know to look out for. So that's a brilliant one to start with anyway, if you're not being found at all.
Yep.
Then moving on, page speed. We talked about this in another episode, but it is really, really important. So if your page is not loading, people are just going to leave, and then Google will know, oh, people don't like this website, and you'll go down, 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 down. So you have to make sure that your pages are loading quickly. And one thing is image sizes or videos. They can take up so much of the page speed loading and all this kind of stuff. And they don't need to, like images especially, don't actually need to be that big for them to be clear.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, a lot of people are on mobile now anyway, so it can be even smaller, and it doesn't have to be this huge image that's crystal clear, because people don't mind that much, and it's just taking up your page speed, then it's just make it go really slow.
Yeah, like if you're uploading, like even like the file size, say if you've got your phone set on a high image quality, that file size is going to be huge. So if you're taking product photos, say for example, on your phone, uploading them directly to your site, and you don't have either software or something sitting in between compressing them, that's really going to hurt your site speed, which obviously will affect your rankings and also will affect your conversion rate on your e-commerce site as well, because it's going to take longer to load. Less people are going to process the whole way through to checkout and sale.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is page speed is important on so many levels. Definitely a ranking factor, and it's becoming more important as a ranking factor, and also as a conversion factor, because we're all well used to waiting for a website to load and go, nope, next.
Nah, yeah. That's take too long. I'm done with this. On the the phone thing, actually, I had my quality of my pictures and videos up really high, and then my phone was like full, and I was like had to delete loads, and I was like, oh my god, why did I do this? I didn't even need half of them in good quality. So it was just ridiculous. So you're saving phone space as well.
Multiple benefits.
Yeah.
um, so and next tip is content. So at the end of the day, that is what Google indexes. They go out and they visit the site. They look at your content. They look at your articles. They look at your product titles. They look at your information. And they look at your title and description and metadata. That information, all that information is hugely important. But the thing is, you want to write for your users, you want to write for your customers, you want to write for your clients, you want to provide content that's going to answer their questions and help them.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're going to be searching in Google. There was a time, where you stuff keywords into articles and
Yeah.
tag loads of keywords in the back end, and it could maybe a long time ago potentially help.
Yeah.
But does not help anymore. So anything with, I need to stuff all my keywords into this article or into the title, that doesn't really work, unfortunately.
I know. I remember.
Well, actually, quite fortunately, because the results are a lot better now.
Yeah. I remember even a few years ago, I was learning SEO, and they were just telling me, get these keywords in like 30 times into this like text, and I was just like, how do I fit this in? Like, this doesn't even make sense. I'm just like writing I don't know, the keyword again and again in random sentences, and it was just like, nobody wants to read that then. Like, I know there's the thing, like keywords are a factor, but like if nobody wants to read it, then it's useless. So it's valuable content that they want, basically.
Valuable content that is going to answer people's questions that they are searching and that they will share, because that's going to bring links back to your website as well if they're sharing the content, which is going to help improve your rankings.
Yes, exactly. And another note as well is to publish like new content, fresh content that's unique
Regularly.
And kind of more consistent.
Yeah.
Because you can see like some of your articles might be 3 or 4 years old. Yes, they answer great questions, but they're getting kind of old now. Just to refresh all your content every now and again and get new, unique content up.
Definitely, especially like if you have a blog post ranking really well that could be 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it's talking about I don't know, let's say top 5 digital marketing tips for 2016. You're like, hey, we'll refresh this. We'll for 2020, 2021.
2021. I know it's February. We're still not used to 2021. We're like, oh.
So yeah, no, I mean, updating your content is important as well to keep it relevant. As well, a tip we did here with a client. Basically, we wanted to rank organically around a particular product sector.
Yeah.
So within the site was built on WordPress. So what we did was we created loads of content around the products in that sector. And so we had a category page with all the content on it, and we optimized that category page for more the broader keyword on that sector. And then all the individual content within it were really, really niche around like individual elements of all those products. I'm being vague here now, so I just don't want to give away the
the client.
But what we did was, so we maybe 50, 60 articles, all really good content, reviewing the different products, helping people around those products. But then there was one top level category where all that content was, and it was all searchable and everything. And they ended up ranking really, really well over time. And I suppose that's the other thing to be aware of. People think, oh, my website's live, I'm not ranking. SEO is a long process. It is about producing the content on an ongoing basis, answering your customers' questions, with your content, and as you said, providing valuable content to them. So it is not something that's going to be an overnight success. Like with that particular client, that we're working with them like 7 years. And it long-term SEO certainly does pay off, but it is not the short-term fix. If you want the short-term fix, that's where Google Ads comes in.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Another really handy one is just your URL structure. Just having a really simple URL really helps with SEO. So just, click
Category, keyword.
marketing services. Like it's just, instead of like all those long like marketing services in Cork, FG, like just like this
100
really
letters.
long, yeah.
Yeah, and having a really nice, simple, clear URL structure that follows along with your website. So, your domain / product category /
Yeah,
product name,
yeah,
your domain
exactly.
/ blog category / blog post name. Really simple, clear, easy to follow.
Hmm.
If you're using something like in WordPress, something like Yoast, it should plug in like your title, your page and post titles automatically into the URL structure.
Yeah, it's really
Um,
handy.
so it's something that should be pretty simple to do. There probably are different systems where your URL could be by default something long and awkward and random
Yeah.
letters and numbers. But again, it's about simple user experience. Where your titles or your URL structures are just really clear and readable, so they can even get information from the URL structure, basically.
Yeah,
What the
exactly.
user
And
angle go.
yeah, and on the topic of Yoast, you can put in your meta descriptions, descriptions,
Yeah, they're
description.
the descriptions. They're not important from a ranking point of view, but they're very important from a click through on a search point of view.
Yeah, they're
So
really handy.
like, but that's, yeah, using something like Yoast if you're on WordPress to do that is very good. So again, like on an e-commerce site where maybe you've got a product where 4 or 5 other people have the same product, you're all on the first page.
Mm,
Think about how you can make your meta description differentiate you from everybody else around you,
yeah,
because that's going to, if there's 4 or 5 similar products on the page, use that meta description to differentiate yourself. Again, it's not about stuffing your keywords in there. It's about,
yeah,
okay, there's 4 or 5 other people looking at this, 4 or 5 other results that are similar to this. Why will my description jump out at them? That will make them click on my URL. Maybe I'm down in position 3,
mm,
somebody else is in position 1. But if you can improve your click through rate on your search results, that's going to help you over time as well. So that's, I think that's where good relevant meta descriptions really come into play.
yeah, definitely. And you see it a lot. People just copy and paste, like, in business since 1985, like onto all your meta descriptions, and you're like, okay, I don't care how long you're in
Actually,
business.
that's a good point as well, because you see that an awful lot with the title tag too, where the business name will be the title of
Yeah,
every page on the website.
yeah,
Um, I mean, the title tag is hugely important in terms of your ranking. So I mean, you want, like if you've got different services, having a page on each service with which you can
yeah,
optimize the title and meta description on all those pages for the service, localize them as well if necessary. Like if you're only serving Cork, you're only serving a particular area, localize the content, localize the title and the meta description as well, because that's going to jump out at people more. It's going to help improve your ranking as well. But it is, again,
yeah,
it's something really simple you can do, is just going through your site and creating the individual title and description for each individual
page.
page.
Yeah,
As you
definitely.
say, there's so many websites, it's the same title and description on every page, and
Yeah,
that's not going to be, you probably rank for your business name and that'll be about
yeah,
it, maybe.
exactly. But if people don't know you, then that's useless. So
um so yeah, look, I hope there's some really good tips for you in there on the e-commerce side of things. Definitely having a tool like Yoast
mhm,
in WordPress or WooCommerce can be really helpful. Um, you want your titles strong, you want your descriptions strong, all unique. You do not want to be using the same title and metadata across everything. If you're in the services side of things, I always recommend, you can have a page where you list all your services, but you really want to have an individual page around each service and
yeah,
optimize, because I'm sure if you have a service, you have plenty of content on that service. I know
exactly.
people
Yeah,
people will always say, oh, I don't want too much content. And from a layout and design point of view, you can make it so that, and initially the user sees something nice and simple and clean, but
yeah,
you want to
and
give
then
them
it
the
keeps.
option to click in,
Yeah,
go in and get more information. have individual pages on those services and be able to optimize the page for each of them then.
And linking to other pages in your website is good for SEO as well.
Absolutely,
So
internal linking, yeah. Actually, that was something with that particular client where we were competing with some fairly big brands throughout the country.
Yeah.
And we got them up. That was something that was very important as well, was
Yeah.
that internal linking between where we mentioned particular products, linking back to that product, where we mentioned a particular problem, linking to the blog post to solve
Yes,
that
yeah.
problem. But again, it still comes back to really good content.
Yeah.
It's not about just producing volumes of crap, basically.
Yeah.
Which certainly was an SEO strategy.
I know, yeah. And people just think of that still, like they're like, oh, just write loads.
But so yeah, so that is very important. I think if you
Yeah.
take away one thing from this, it's okay, how can I produce good content that's going to answer people's questions? And I always say as well, if you're wondering, okay, what to write about, type your product name, type your service name into Google, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and they'll give you like 10 or 12 related terms that people are searching around your product or service.
Yeah.
Or type in a problem you think your customer's having and scroll down to the bottom of Google search results. And again, look at those related search terms. So you'll get some really good ideas from that. And that they're things that are being searched because Google's literally telling you, here's what other people are searching in relation to this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hope you got some good takeaways from this episode. And that's been this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop.